Hi, I'm Snow White, and welcome back to Snow White and the Seven Does podcast. Thank you so much for being here. This week's episode, I'm so excited for. Okay, so you know how people tell you, like, you can't have everything you want? I think that's absolute bullshit. And it's because they didn't get everything they want, and they didn't get everything they want because they didn't just stick to what they wanted. You have this deck of cards that you have, like, were dealt, your circumstance, and today is a new day, and whatever you do, the choices that you make today will affect tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. So those micro actions and those connections that you make with people, if you want it all, you can have it all. You can have it all. But if you think, okay, I can achieve X amount, then you'll probably achieve X amount. But then you can also ask for more and more and more, and don't feel shameful about it, because the shame is what's holding you back from receiving it in the first place. Like, oh, you almost feel like, oh, that's too much for one person, that's too much, I couldn't have that, or what am I going to do with all that? Like, be that much. Think of what good you could do with that in the world. You know what I mean? And be the good. You can have it all too. Like, you can have love and a career and time. And it's what you do with your time and what you truly want and what your priorities are what show up in your reality. When you have a desire, you see the outcome, but don't be so rigid on how it's going to happen. Be open to being surprised. Being surprised is almost a good thing, because if you were able to predict it, then that means that it was the past, because it already happened, it was predictable. But if you can't predict it and it's a surprise and it's something new and exciting, and you have to kind of have faith to go into it, or just trust something in you to go into it, just leave the how. How we were raised how we were raised as a culture in America is very go, 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 essentially. It's career driven. A lot of people put their career before their health, and then by the time they reach retirement age, they use that money to, like, pay for illnesses and sicknesses and things like that. And we have a system that helps the rich get rich, and it causes a lot of stress on people. A lot of people get really stressed out about work and everything, and it also is almost a sense, it is a sense of identity for them. Their job is a sense of identity for them, and it is for me too. It's like, it's hard not to identify with what you're doing, what you're producing as a human, and but it can get to a point where you're not meant to be going all the time. You're meant to be enjoying, relaxing, just being. A lot of people will wake up in the morning and immediately they'll go, and they'll start to just think about, well, they'll start to frame an identity. Like, okay, I'm Snow, good morning, I'm going to this place or work or whatever, I'm going to drive here, do this, and see my uncle or my mom or whatever you have to do that day. You frame an identity, and you also think of all your problems as well, all your things that you have to do and things that you have to get done that day, your tasks. It's how it's set up to be. It's like, you can't completely, not do anything. And it's not that you don't want to not do anything, but it's more so you want to create towards yourself. But you can do that. You can still live in this world and do that. You can be an entrepreneur and have to create every single day. Being an entrepreneur is so hard, because also every day you have to face your shadow. You have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and take risks. And it's hard. Not everybody is successful, but it's a way that you can be creative and extremely successful. I always preach that your job is someone else's passive income. I work at a flower shop right now, and yesterday I made 70 arrangements, and she was like, in my shift of, like, it took me like 5 hours to make so many arrangements. And she was like, yeah, this is basically going to pay you all. Like, doing this order is going to pay you all. That's how I think of it. And it's Valentine's Day, so I was like laying in bed. I was like, she's raking it in, because there's a lot of orders. Good for her though. That's a good. Flowers, like, people need flowers. I didn't even realize that people need flowers for funerals, for weddings, for proms, for whatever. It's in constant demand. Like, for girlfriends, I have flowers right here. I love flowers. Okay. Humans will look in the 3D for proof and constant assurance of constant bad emotions and disbelief in themselves, because they're affirming it to themselves every single day, because they're saying it to themselves, because they believe it. At the end of the day, you are a limitless being. There's just so many things that you can choose to do or be or have, and how attainable it is based on what you tell yourself. And you can choose to love yourself in all of life, instead of saying that you're a victim to life or falling victim to life. Cause the effect. The word meditation means to become familiar with. And if you integrate that practice into your daily lives, you will become so much more conscious and aware of your thoughts, emotions, and you in general. You will be able to alchemize your mind. And when threats come up, you won't see them as threats, you'll see them as opportunities. You'll see them as opportunities to be the person that you want to be and evolve as a human. Just understanding that you're such a powerful being, you can see why there are so many distractions out there from stopping you from basically creating. You lack time, you lack energy, you lack motivation from producing a life that you truly want, and you're in a cycle because it keeps you from, like with social media, for instance, when you get stuck in a loop of TikToks or Reels or whatever, it's stealing your time, and your time is the most valuable thing you have, and you're basically just a customer. You're a customer, and they're selling to you different concepts, people, clothing. Oh, she's so pretty. How she got that? I want that. Maybe it's her lip gloss. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Whatever it is, it's all like, you can connect with people on social media, which is a really cool thing. And you can connect with so many people with your phone in so many ways. The truest connection, and sometimes you're forced to be alone in life, and you might even find your person, and sadly, like, they die and things happen. It's tragic, it literally is, but you might have to be alone in life sometimes to grow your connection with yourself and ultimately God, the creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's you. You know, at the end of the day, it's really just you and this life. And you have to be able to make yourself happy. You have to fulfill yourself. You have to fill your own cup before you can love somebody else. And you have one body, one mind, one life right now in this deck of cards. All right, thank you guys so much for watching Snow White and the Seven Dust podcast. I love you with all my heart, and I'll see you next Wednesday.